Good morning, friends. Steve here. I did a tarot video earlier, and it took over an hour to upload because it has to go through my telephone line. Because this is basically, for the most part, all I do on the internet. Um, and so we just don't need anything more than we have until I'm wanting to upload a video. And sometimes it takes so long to upload it that something happens and it just says fails, and then you got to do it again. But today is in the Mayan calendar, so I'm going to do a Mayan calendar reading. In the Mayan calendar, there are 13 months based on lunar cycles, and we're at the end of the 9th month. So they're all lunar months. All 13 months are lunar tones, but the 9th lunar tone is solar. It always is a little confusing when I try to even talk about it, but the Mayan calendar starts on, every week starts on a Friday and completes on a Thursday. And so this is the fourth week, and tomorrow, Thursday, will be the last day. Today is second to last day. And today has to do with the solar plexus chakra. And today is a red solar moon. So solar is the 9th tone of the 13 lunar tones. And red moon is the solar tribe or kin. I'm going to get back to that in a minute, but let's just set up the healing field, help you to connect to the healing field. So start out by saying these words. So I connect to my deep self. Connect to my higher self. Connect to my highest self. I ground myself to the healing center of the earth. I open myself to the healing power of the One, the Hunab Ku, the central sun. I release anything not useful to me now. And if you choose to have support and help with your healing from the Hathors, seventh dimensional beings that I work with, you can state out loud, I choose to work with the Hathors. I ask that we be placed in a field of protection while we do this work. And I ask the higher self to take us through the portal of time to the event that would be of the highest good, released and integrated at this time. I invite all souls affected by this event to return to the event, release and integrate the energy of the event for themselves. And I ask that they be placed in a field of protection while they do their work. Upon arrival at the event, I ask the higher self to assist us to release and integrate all energies of the event gently and easily, fully and completely on all levels, and through all space and time. Okay, the field is set up, and if you're here just for the field, then you could hit the pause button and come back later on sometime for the closing of the field and the bringing in of the new energies. And for the rest of you who are here for the healing field and the Mayan calendar, today we have a red moon. And today, Wednesday, is related to the solar plexus. But the red moon, as the number 9 of the 20 tribes, is related to the root chakra. And it's related to red and the east, which is related to initiation. Like the day is initiated, things are initiated with the rising of the sun from the east. Red moon is about purification. It's about universal water and flow. So our brains and spinal cords, which are the first things to develop in the fetus, this little brain and spinal cord, little neural system develops, and then everything grows around that. And many of the mystical teachers speak about how our awareness on a physical level is interpreted through our neural system. And much of our awareness comes from our neural system, which in many mystical traditions talks about that our neural system is the housing of our Akashic records. And it's affected by it's termed sexual energy, but it's just a life energy that runs up and down the central core of the body. And you can hear sometimes about people having Kundalini awakenings. When it's right for any part of your neural system to awaken, it awakens. It can be kind of forced to awaken through hallucinogenics. Taking in hallucinogenics can force your awareness to expand. It can maybe lead to good things or maybe lead to bad things, difficulties. But the natural awakening is through the rising of the sexual energy of the Kundalini in the body. And there's some description of that in Tantra Yoga. But it's this energy moving up and down the neural system, bringing light, energy, and awareness into our Akashic records. And there are energies in our Akash, or our Akashic records. There are energies related to unresolved events in the past, but they're current because they're unresolved. So they're happening right in the present. The things in our Akashic records, in our history of our humanity and our ancestral humanity and all ancestors, we can be born, the kitty's getting into the brown paper shopping bag that's been being used for so many years that, it's got staples in it holding the handles on for people who are kind of OCD about recycling. Okay. So we can have traumas, memories stuck in our neural system or housed in our neural system based on our own previous event traumas, previous life traumas, or ancestral event traumas that came in with our DNA. I think it's called the study of epigenetics. How our whole genomes are affected by the lives of our ancestors and the deaths of our ancestors, and that connecting link of that stream of consciousness that comes in when our crown chakra is open and our grounding chakras are open, and we've got energy coming in, and we've got, coming in from both ends. And so tomorrow is the last day of my 5-month ancestral healing code course with mystic trauma therapist Thomas Hubel. And it's been a powerful course. It's been very challenging. When you think about the intent of a healing course being, and I think all healing has to do with this, being the bringing back of the unconscious memory of an unresolved event, and then resolving it by releasing and integrating the energies of that event. Challenging is a good word. It was a challenging course. Would I recommend it? I recommend that people kind of tune in and see if they're drawn to doing a course like this. See if they feel on a soul level this is their next step, because it can be and is challenging for many people in the course. I know this because we speak about it, the challenge that it is. I want to talk a bit about, in this video, while we're doing this healing work, based on this event we've gone back to, kind of like the Healing Code course, but this is something I've been doing since 2013, going back to events and releasing and integrating the energy of the events. I've been doing it for longer than that, but I've been doing it in this way since 2013. And so in the last few nights in the dream world, I get a lot of instruction in the dream world. So my guides have an easier time interacting with me in the dream world than they do in the awake world, for whatever reason. You can make up your own stories, I could make up stories, but they do have an easier time interacting with me in the dream world and teaching me things in the dream world because I'm less distracted by this world and cats in bags, and cats coming out of the bags, and cats in closets and coming out of the closets. But in the last few nights, there's been a real focus on helping me to understand that energies aren't stuck in the body. I am, on some level, holding those energies in the body. And when we acknowledge that we're holding those energies, even if we're not conscious of it, but we are holding them, they're not stuck, they're held, then we can let go of our hold on those energies, and then energies will do what they're naturally meant to do, which is move. The reason that energy can get stuck is because it's overwhelming. We can't deal with the process we're in. We have to go into fight, flight, or freeze. If we freeze this thing up, then we can hold on to it for as long as we can. Sometimes we can't hold on to it when our energy is super low, and all of a sudden we don't have the energy to hold on, and these things just come out. You see a lot of these things come out when people are in the last stages of their life and they're just processing these things continuously. Nice to get as many of these things processed before the end of our life. So when we're at the end of the life, we can just have a little end of the life party and just enjoy our passing from this world to that world, and not have to be doing as much work in that last 6 months or a year prior to our passing out of the body. So what they've been really helping me to experience, because you don't know something until you experience it, you embody it, you get it on a physical level as well as a heart level, emotional level, mental level, spiritual level. When we get it on all levels, we have embodied that process. So, that process they're teaching me to embody is the understanding that if I come across an uncomfortable feeling, it's almost always either fear, anger, or grief, or a combination of the three, and plus others, some sesame seeds and chia seeds and whatever others in the mix. That's the emotional mix. But typically, the big three are fear, anger, and grief. And so, oftentimes, when we have a trigger and an energy begins to relief, we go, oh, I feel really sad, or I feel really angry, or I feel afraid, I'm afraid, I'm afraid. And or all three of those. And sometimes they come in layers so that we'll feel fear and we'll actually move through the fear, and then we feel grief, and then we move through the grief, and then we feel anger. And it doesn't have to go in that level, but oftentimes that is the level. The fear keeps people away. It keeps us from having to deal with these uncomfortable feelings. But if we stay with it and release the fear, step one, because once the fear is released, you can be much more present and not have to be running around or fighting or flighting or freezing. We let go of that fear, and you can be doing this. You know, you might have felt fear when I talked about fear. You might have been feeling it before I talked about it, but you feel that fear. And as you let go of that fear, because you were holding on to it, now you're letting it go. So obviously, you experience fear, you let go of fear. So you let go of that fear. And then you may feel underneath that grief or underneath that anger. But let's just say you feel grief. And then you feel that energy of grief. And you go, oh, that's grief, that's grief, that's grief. And you just stay kind of present with it. Then you can let go of your hold on that grief. Yeah, that's how it feels. And you might notice yourself breathing deeper. And then, oftentimes, the most challenging, people are most comfortable in fear because the world stimulates it and they're in it all the time. They may not be comfortable with it, but they're used to it. But anger is the one I think that people are so afraid of because they associate anger with violence. So maybe somebody got mad and hit them. And so there's a level of physical trauma sometimes related in our neural system, maybe from way back, related in our neural system, related to what we feel is that energy of anger. So we feel that anger and we go, oh, hold that in, otherwise you're going to be thumped, or don't hold that in and thump somebody. But anger isn't associated with violence. Anger is associated with repressed power. So our sense of individuality, when we are being ourselves and our parents said, stop that, stop that, stop that. We went, whoop, what was that? What was I doing? You were being yourself. And it was yourself that doesn't fit in to our paradigm of what a good self is, either a spiritually religious self or whatever. You weren't fitting in, so we had to do whatever, however they punish you, to cause you to pull that power in, and then it vibrates as anger. And sometimes that anger explodes out, and we may do something of a more violent nature, but they're not necessarily connected in that way. We can also let that anger out and realize it is the power of ourself. It's the power of the earth. Yeah, the earth has earthquakes and buildings collapse and people are injured. That happens when things are shifting. There can be earthquakes, there can be tornadoes, there can be hurricanes, there can be tsunami waves, all of those things with large shifts in the Earth's energy. And it can appear violent, but it's just a movement of energy. And so if we can learn to let that energy move without feeling like we need to act on it. So if we can let fear move without feeling like we need to run or fight or freeze, don't hurt me, whatever. Or feel grief without feeling like, oh, I'm just going to have to sob for days. It's like, no, you can let go of that grief and you can let go of that anger. So when we feel that anger, ooh, it's got a little bit of a seething nature to it. It feels like Yosemite, Old Faithful. We can feel that. Realize it's your power rising. Realize oftentimes you're going to feel it in your sacrum. And today is a red moon day related to the root chakra, the sacrum. So you may feel that anger, power, we just call it your root power, open up. Like right now, just open up. Just feel your sacrum just open up. Quit holding that energy in. Let it out. And then you may start feeling some tingling in your hands or tingling in your feet, because the hands and feet are related to that area where that power is held. And when you let it go, you feel all of a sudden a tingling in your hands or your feet or your head or your sacrum. And those are the areas that were not being supplied by that personal power and are now being supplied. You might feel it as tingling. And so that energy comes out. But you notice I'm not getting violent, throwing my Kindle at my computer, although the fact that this computer might be spying on me. It could be spying on me right this very minute. It could be listening in and recording things I'm saying, and later on show them on the side of YouTube suggesting that I get my prostate checked or something. But that power is rising, and the power is rising, and we best learn to use it so we're not just getting involved in confrontation and fight or flight or any of that kind of energy. We want to see peace in the world. The best way to see peace in the world is be peaceful. That's the best way. Just be peaceful. And when you're not at peace, be at peace with not being at peace. If you're stirred up, be at peace with being stirred up. If you're fearful, find yourself loving yourself in your fear, loving yourself in your grief. And I've been having days of grief recently, and I don't have a connection to it. I've just been letting it go. That's been my practice. My spiritual practice from the dream world was you can just let these energies go. You just let them go. And practice it, because if you practice it, when real situations occur, when somebody does something to you, which they will, step in front of you in line, ram their cart in front of yours in the grocery store, whatever they might be doing, and you can go, I feel my power rising, and I feel at peace with that. Okay, that's a little healing bit. While we're doing the healing field, that's a little bit of healing thought, healing practice that you can work with. And then I'm going to read a little bit about the red moon. And I guess Heraclitus said, he sounds like a Greek or a Roman, Heraclitus. I could look it up, but I'm probably not going to. He says, you cannot step twice in the same river, for fresh waters are ever flowing in, or toxic waters, just depending on your perception. So the symbol for red moon appears like a beacon, a portal. There's a symbol right there where it says red moon. It appears like a beacon, like a lighthouse or a portal, inviting us into self-remembrance. This is a powerful day. In the tarot reading, if you watch the tarot reading first and this reading second, in the tarot reading, we got the Queen of Wands, which the wands have to do with our soul work. And the Queen of Wands has to do with it releasing and integrating the past so we become more and more awake in the present. And that was the tarot card for today, and here's the Mayan calendar reading for today, talking about the same thing, inviting us into self-remembrance of who we are in our purity. So doesn't it make sense? Red is the color of the earth. The sacrum is our root. Our legs, the energy goes down into the earth. We root into the earth. We are of the earth physically. We're made of earth substances, all working together in a unified whole, which is kind of amazing when you think about it, and not always working as a unified whole. Sometimes they're working as a disrupted bunch of parts, especially when they're toxic. But when this portal invites us into our self-remembrance of who we are in our purity, and you may not even, we probably have a memory of who we are in our purity, and this portal is inviting us into that today. That self-remembrance of who we are in our purity. Maybe we just can feel it, or maybe we can sense it, maybe we can picture it. Yeah. So red moon is a messenger of the ever-present opportunity to renew one's being, to rejuvenate, to cleanse ourselves that we may be free of toxins, falsehoods, distortions, and disserving energies. I'm loving this myself. I hope you're still here because this has been going on for 28 minutes. To refine ourselves as clear vessels, to restore health and well-being, perhaps the strongest force of purification are, if you said water, you wouldn't be far off, gratitude, and forgiveness. Acknowledging the totality of our human experience as a divine gift and remembering we are ever learning innocent students of life, the power of universal water invites us to call upon our fluidity, adaptability, resilience, and ability to change states. I'm angry. I'm peaceful. Acknowledging the totality of our human experience as a divine gift and remembering we are ever learning innocent students of life. The power of universal water invites us to call upon our fluidity, adaptability, resilience, and ability to change states. Flow reminds us of the law of impermanence, asserting that change is the only constant in life, In a continual process of release and renewal, we cycle in phase with nature's rhythms. If we are resistant to the flow of life in its patterns as well as its unpredictability, and when we lock energy into an event, that puts a rock in the flow of the river. And we may have many rocks in that flow. So when the energy starts flowing, we may get really upset about, oh, whoa, what's going on here? Whoa. We may encounter unnecessary stress. I like it. Unnecessary stress. The necessary stress is the stress it takes for you to breathe. That's necessary stress. The unnecessary stress is the sky is falling. The sky is falling. Unless the sky is falling, and then that's a necessary stress. You see one of the satellites coming out of the sky and it's coming down, or simpler yet, a top of a branch of a tree breaks off, you hear a crack, you look up, and you think maybe I should move a few feet that way fairly quickly, watching my step. Or the satellite comes down, whatever. We may encounter unnecessary stress or struggle, and I'm sure you can relate to it, or overlook fresh opportunities presenting themselves. We can't control the river of life, therefore it is wise to yield to the momentum of the naturally arising circumstances. They're happening, might consider yielding to them. Water is the largest component of our planet Earth and our human bodies. Red Moon advocates hydrate your cells, bathe your bodies, cry your tears, claim your sanctity, go with the flow of your soul, and celebrate all the wonderful and various manifestations of water, moonlight, oceans, clouds, and rainstorms. We got a step ahead of you up here in the Pacific Northwest, along with rainstorms. And lately we've been having like thunder and lightning, which is less usual. May we honor this precious resource. That is the Red Moon reading. And now I'm going to go back and I'm going to read to you about the lunar tone. So understand that the kin are the solar kin. Those are the 20 tribes that you're one of, 20 tribes. There's 4 colors of 5. So there's 5 groups in every tribe. And there's 4 colors that compose the tribes, the yellow, the white, the red, and the blue. You're one of those. Within the lunar tones, the 13 lunar tones, tone 9 is the solar tone. So it's this solar vibration of the moon. And they have a relationship. You just got to know it. You wouldn't see the moon without the sun. When the sun's not there, it's the moon. You know, it's an eclipse. Okay, so the solar tone is about pulsing, realizing our intention. So it's about holding an intention for the world you'd like to see emerge through you. And better than just holding that intention, have some emotion towards that intention you're holding. And the emotions I would recommend would be peace. You didn't know that peace was an emotion, but it is. It's a vibration. And emotions are energies in motion. So when peace is moving through you, from you, and it's connected to your intention, there's a pulsing of that peace and a realization. Tone 9, pulsing the power of intention. So that is enough. I'm sure we're up at 35. Not that I'm a time watcher, but every once in a while I check, like, how long have you been yapping? I'm just going to look at one more thing in the calendar just to see if there's any particular magic happening today or tomorrow. And I don't see any galactic activation portals or anything else. And it looks like we not having a whole bunch of stuff showing up until around April 12th. And then on the 13th of April is the first I'm looking. I even took my memory mushrooms today, and I refilled my little canister of my memory mushrooms. I make sure I put them in any drink I'm having. But the auspicious days of Pakal Votan, the first day of the 13 days of auspicious days of Pakal Votan, the sage king prophet of the Mayan people from 603 to 683 AD. The first day of the 13 days is the 13th of April. So that's coming up, and then there's going to be lots of galactic activation portals and all sorts of stuff beginning to happen again. Okay, so we're not through, but 36 minutes. So I can try to keep this under 40 because it'll take me forever to upload this over a telephone line. It's a lot of data streaming and hopefully not interrupted for any reason. Okay, I do this all for you and for me because I feel better every time I make a video. I feel like my energies uplift from it. I'm going to go back and look at what I looked like when I started today, because when I started today, my energy was like, and now it's a little bit more like, oh, yeah, we got a day to live. Maybe I'll do recycling today. Okay, let's finish up here. It's been good. I've enjoyed this video very much. I think I'll enjoy it later as well, and I'll probably actually hear more when I'm listening to it and can stop and listen to it, go back and forth. Or like one of my favorite subscribers says, at 1306, you said, you know who you are, and I really appreciate you doing that. At 1306, you said. That's paying attention. And also just moving with the changes. You'll like this one. This one's for you. DY. DY, this one's for you. And if you're not DY, this one's for you. Because it could be for you or DY or whoever watches it. If it's for you, if you watch it and it works for you, which I think this one's going to work really good because there's just a lot of spells in this one. There's a lot of words that open up experiences that people go, oh, wow, look at that. I just let go of anger. Huh. That was relatively easy. Maybe I'll practice that. There's a hypnotic suggestion. Maybe I'll practice that. If I can really release and integrate emotions so gently and easily, wouldn't I want to do it every time emotions rose to the surface before they took me and ran me around the house or got me in a car driving somewhere? Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll finish. So I asked the higher self to assist all the souls that returned to the event to combine with that part of their soul that had remained at the event and bring that combined soul back into their body in present time with all of its wisdom, power, and clarity, compassion, curiosity, and kindness. And with peace and joy, I ask the souls to ground themselves in the healing center of the earth and open up the portal for the delivery of the new energies into the earth at this time. And I ask that those new energies be brought in now. And ask that they be activated. And I let the universe and beyond know that this has been done and that it's good. And I hope that this serves you right and it serves you well and that you'll just learn to be kinder towards yourself and others, but really start with yourself. Sometimes it's easier to be kinder to others than it is to ourselves because we were not taught necessarily through kindness. And so kindness feels like an unusual feeling to have towards oneself because they didn't get it from anyone else, possibly, or maybe just one other person. But we can be kind towards ourselves and notice how our world opens up when we learn to be kind for ourselves. Because others in the world have their own agendas, issues, and they're possibly can feel a bit manipulative of us. And when we just go, okay, that's something I can just let go of, is the feeling of being manipulated and the feeling of needing to be manipulated by someone. And I can take my power back from them if I ever feel that happening. If I feel like I'm giving my power over to someone, in that moment I can just take it back and then take it back again. And if you want to work really good, just take it back a third time. And it will be safe and effective. Maybe you can even take those words back, what safe and effective really mean to you, and not just use as advertising slogans to try to get you to do something. By telling you it's safe and effective, and not giving you a list of side effects. Okay. Brilliant. Brilliant. Congratulations, us. We did a good job today, and may this, I think I was saying this earlier, may this serve you right. May this serve you well. May this serve you on all levels through all space and time for the good of all. We are one. Now can change.